Welcome again to the Let's Be Frank podcast, where home improvement legend and metal roofing expert Frank Farmer talks about how you can improve your sales and customer satisfaction and grow your metal roofing business. Let's Be Frank is brought to you by Metal Roofing Consultants, training successful metal roofers nationwide. Learn more at metalroofingconsultants.com. And by Isaiah Industries, in the business of manufacturing the very best permanent roofing solutions for homes across North America and around the world. Learn more at isaiahindustries.com. On this edition of Let's Be Frank, we talk about Frank Farmer's background and how his success and the values he cultivated brought about the training programs now available through MRC. Let's get started. All right, so today let's talk about how you got started in the metal roofing business.
You know, it's quite a story. First of all, my background is I grew up very poor. Grew up without anything. Grew up in a rural area in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Figured out real soon that education was going to be my ticket away from poverty, and had a grandiose idea I would be a physician, and did actually go on through medical school and got training as a physician. But I decided I did not want to practice. Wasn't something that I wanted to do as a career.
Wow.
What I had visualized wasn't real.
So when you actually got to practicing, it just wasn't what you thought?
Out doing rotations, and realized I wasn't going to see a patient every 7.5 minutes. I'm a people person, and I want to take some time with people and kind of help them understand their problems and help them.
Got it. So what was the next step then?
Well, after I decided that I wasn't going to practice, I actually started a small business, an apartment locator service, for about 2.5 years. And it was an idea that was way ahead of its time of cataloging apartments. This was way back in the early 1980s. We used Trash 80 computers. And it was an idea that was way ahead of its time. And I looked good and I smelled good, and I was broke. And just being totally brutally honest, I was like so many people that I meet that on the surface you think they're doing really, really well, and deep inside they know they're just floundering.
Yeah.
And from there, I had a friend who was managing an office for a window company, and he came to me and said, "I think you'd be a good salesperson." And I did not see myself as a salesperson.
Okay.
My thought of a salesperson were they were slime bags. I had a used car mentality, tell you what you want to hear, and I didn't want to be. Want any
who wants
to
do that? Yeah, exactly.
No. So I went to work for that company after he showed me what he had made, and I knew I was better than him. And so my career started in the early 1986, and from there I caught on very rapidly. After my first 30 presentations, I went 0 for 30. Didn't sell anything.
Okay.
And then I really started to realize that I better pay attention to a system. And I started really understanding it wasn't about the salesperson, it was about the system and where the customer was at. And then I started doing real well. I rapidly moved up in sales ranks. I became a top 10 salesperson in the United States actually in my first year.
Wow.
Second year, I was tapped by the end of the year to do some training for the company.
All right.
And within short order, within a few years, quite honestly, I was running half of the state of Michigan, growing salespeople and growing sales offices. Eventually ended up taking over as sales manager for the entire company, and then as vice president running the company. And we were about a $20 million company.
So what happened there?
I always thought I was going to own part of that company. That's what the owner told me. You're going to own this company when I'm done. But that's not what turned out to happen. As other family got involved, and they ended up with it. And I stayed around for a little while and left and started American Metal Roofs in 1999.
Okay. So American Metal Roofs starts in Michigan in 1999. What did you take from what you've learned in your past with the window company forward then into American?
What was important is systems. I was starting a new venture with American Metal Roofs. I was starting moving into an industry that did not understand selling at all. This industry, metal roofing, is known as the industry with chucking the trucks. Guys with little roll formers out, no real systems, all selling based on commodity pricing, competing on price. So I took those systems of examination, of presentation, and wrote the first presentation that this industry had ever seen. Mm-hmm. And I showed that it was possible to go out and do a one-call close on a $50,000 roof.
So since that time, metal roofing has really expanded. One of the things you've been talking about lately is how dissatisfied many metal roofing customers are after they make their purchase. What accounts for that?
Well, what happens is that you have an uneducated consumer. You have a consumer that doesn't understand the difference between low-grade metal and high-grade metal, or roofs that are made for barns versus those that are made for houses. And so the uneducated consumer gets taken advantage of by a contractor that wants to tell them whatever they want to hear. That slime ball I told you about that I did not want to be. Okay. The industry's full of it. And many people selling metal don't even know that a barn metal roof is not supposed to go on a house. They don't know
that becomes a mission then for MRC. As metal roofing consultants, as you founded that organization, and in a way to sort of combat all of that.
Yes. It was probably, it wasn't long after we were recognized by Inc. magazine in 2007 as one of the fastest growing construction companies out there. And we started gaining some notoriety, and people were coming to us wanting to know about our systems. How could we teach salespeople? How could salespeople do $10,000 net per lead? For every issued lead, they're averaging $10,000 in sales.
Sure.
So these systems that are so vital, we started helping people with. But you're correct, Jim. MRC, Metal Roofing Consultants, is really more than teaching salespeople. It's about helping define an industry, helping find bearings of what is and what isn't, clear up some confusion. We also work with some manufacturers and help them. But to educate everybody on what should be done to a home and what shouldn't be done to a home, and staying ethical and true to yourself.
So what do you say to those that look at your success and say, they're just lucky, right place, right time?
I've heard that a lot. And I can't say that I haven't had a good amount of luck. People think, though, that luck is something that happens to you randomly. When I think of luck that way, I think you might as well go buy a lotto ticket. Okay? Yeah. But that's not the kind of luck that I've experienced. I believe if you want luck in your life, there's a few things you need to do, and that you can truly manufacture luck. And I tend to have a lot of good luck. And it's really, Jim, because I've recognized to do three things. Okay, and the first one is no matter who I'm working with, I try to put them first. In other words, if I can help you truly be successful and make you the center of the universe and help you, then we're all going to benefit. You see, I can't always expect that things are going to go flow positively to me.
Sure.
But when you help somebody, genuinely help them from your heart, you get a good glow inside of you. You get a feeling inside of you of like, that's an adrenaline high when you're helping other people become successful. And I found that good things just start to happen to me, and I get good luck when I help other people. So first thing is, I try to help create good luck for other people by making them the center of the relationship.
Sure.
Okay. Now, people constantly will say, "Well, you're fortunate." I tend to believe that good fortune or good luck you create, but you meet it halfway. And let me explain. What I mean is, when I do a project, I go full throttle, 100%. All in. And it's not good enough just to have a big dream or visualize, or I'll talk to sometimes salespeople and they've got big grandiose goals, or business owners. They're going to achieve this. They'll triple the business this year. And for the most part, they don't understand the amount of work that's going to take to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I work hard, full throttle, and I'm passionate about it, luck seems to come my way. And because I'm positive and there's activity that's going on. Okay. The last thing I mentioned is positive. I believe good luck comes to those people who are positive. whiners keep getting fortune taken away.
Yeah.
In other words, we've all met that person when you sit down and have a conversation and you're talking about, and you're moving ahead and you're excited. And they want to sit and tell you their good luck story. Okay?
Yeah.
Sounds like a country song. Okay? I've heard people say, that's the story of my life as they're talking.
Sure.
But they painted a negative picture. Well, how about we paint a positive picture as the story of our life?
Yeah.
The cloud follows some people around quite a bit.
So these values inform then everything from your training process, your sales process that you've designed. This is sort of the core of it.
Exactly. When the moral compass inside of you is right, okay, and you're positive, and you put the hard work to understand the whole process, the world's in front of you. It becomes a fortune. It truly does. You set sail to your own destiny when you do those things.
A lot of positivity, a lot of good values, a lot of certainly positive energy in what you're training and how you're working with your customers. But what about when something bad happens, something unexpected?
Happens to me all the time. And as I said earlier, you can't always expect good fortune and luck to come your way. But sometimes when those bad things happen, you just need to stop and take a look at it and understand that whatever is thrown your way in life, you have to look for the silver lining. There has to be a lesson that's learned. There has to be a reason that maybe some of that bad luck came your way. Did you sacrifice your value system? Did you really do things that you weren't supposed to be doing? And I'm not saying you're getting punished. Not at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes we set up those unfortunate things by not making right decisions earlier. I have to ask myself this every time something negative happens. What can I learn from this? How can we take this situation now and come out the other side of it and be better and be stronger? Many times it takes self-reflection to do that.
Sure. Because you don't want to find yourself in those patterns where you're repeating negative stuff. I mean, if you learn from it, hopefully that can cause change to come about. When you're working with others, do you find that they have a lot of sort of negative stories, negative energy?
Yes, I do. More than I'd like to admit. I'm going to say it is probably the number one thing that holds people back, because they will start down a path, and they start down a path of self-sabotage instead of learning. Many people don't understand what they're doing to themselves. They start telling me about their unfortunate circumstances that have held them back in life. And really, when you sit back and listen to it, what they're doing is they're justifying their lack of success. They don't have the ability to say, hey, it's me. And at some point, we have to say, hey, it's me that's doing this.
Yeah.
How do we get past this? And so sometimes it's helping them with that. I tell people that one of the most important things is to let go of those negative stories, because it doesn't do any good to recant something bad that happened to you. I can remember years and years ago when I first started in sales. I think it was my second year, and I had bought a new house on a lake, and the dam of that lake broke, and the dam emptied. And I went from being a top performer to being a bottom performer in 30 days.
Really?
And what I was doing, and not even realizing I was doing it, and a lot of people do this, is because that consumed my life. I had the house everybody dreamed of on this lake that was suddenly gone. So I would start talking to a customer, and it would weave into the conversation where I lived, and say, "Oh, isn't that the place that lost the lake?" Yes, and I'd give my hard luck story. It set the tone for a downer. And I can't tell you why I felt comfortable doing that. I can just say I did it, and it hurt me a lot. It's a great example for people to understand you can't carry around those negative stories.
A lot of times you get encouraged. There tends to be almost like some momentum when a negative story comes out. People then share theirs, and all of a sudden things have gone in a different direction.
In a really bad direction, because emotion is what creates sales. When you drag somebody into a pit, it's hard to get them emotionally excited about this product in the next hour. You're having to do a 180 on them. the stories that we tell keep us mentally trapped in the past.
Yeah.
They do.
Sure.
And we have to break loose that. And so that's a decision I ask people to make. I remember I had to say to myself and ask myself the question, am I willing to give up the hard luck stories? Mm-hmm. Am I willing to quit talking about myself? Mm-hmm. They don't care my car blew up. They don't care my dam is gone. Okay? Yeah. They want positives. So putting a customer in a negative mindset just hurts us. And you're right. The easiest way to talk about ourselves is we talk about it in a negative way. Our negative stories defined us in a grand way to the customer.
Yeah.
Our positive stories move us towards a sale.
Yeah, I've heard that if you don't get your past out of your future, you're just going to keep getting repetitions of your past over and over again.
Exactly. So, when I talk about luck, I have to acknowledge, yes, there's luck, but it really is meant. I got luckier when I changed myself personally and put my efforts into my customers and the people I was dealing with, and quit talking about myself and put some hard work with it.
So this sounds like it's really sort of your passion. You're the center of what you're doing is not only living this out but training it, sharing it.
It is. So the sales process is developed so that it is totally customer-centric and it is not about a salesperson at all. We give them zero opportunity to talk about themselves so they don't fall into these bad habits. When we help them go through a sales training, it's really a cleansing process they go through. And when they get out and start doing presentations and they tape themselves and they listen back, they'll realize how much they're talking about themselves, and it's not good.
Okay. And all of this is part of what you deliver in Metal Roofing Consultants, working with companies.
That is correct. Not only with owners, but working with salespeople.
And we'll end this edition of Let's Be Frank right there. Thanks for listening. Let's Be Frank is sponsored by Isaiah Industries, in the business of manufacturing the very best permanent roofing solutions for homes across North America and around the world. Learn more at IsaiahIndustries.com. Let's Be Frank is a production of Metal Roofing Consultants, training successful metal roofers nationwide. Learn more at MetalRoofingConsultants.com.